It's time to start preparing. The next 5 to 10 years, your banking system and financial system is radically going to transform. The old way that our grandparents and parents managed their finances and lived inside of this economy is going to be completely different. America's at 120% debt to income ratio. The bond market is destroyed, and we have a whole new wave of financial services coming in. It's going to be a bumpy ride. You need to figure out how to remain stoic, how to remain calm, and how to get on the right side of the interest quadrant. You're either paying interest or you're earning interest. There is no middle ground in this economy. So in today's video, I'm going to break down how the financial system is changing and how some of the oldest banks in the world are embracing crypto, and not only embracing it, but they're going all in cryptocurrency. And I'll remind you, as I have since 2020, as they tell you to look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. And you have to have the courage to do your research, the courage to go against the traditional system, and the courage to activate and take chances. That's what we did. And it radically transformed our family's life. This is about spiritual, financial, and physical. That is your responsibility as the head of household. So I'm going to first show you where Eric Trump talks about the rewiring of the financial system. And on the back end of every video, repetitively, I show with you exactly what I'm doing. No gatekeeping here. It's not financial advice. I'm only being transparent and documenting my journey to financial freedom for my family for generations to come. So let's dive right in. So the first thing I want to show you is Eric Trump, and I'm becoming very, very big fan of Eric Trump and his business dealings and what he's doing. I am fully investing in American BTC, which is a stock, ABTC. You'll see it right here, American Bitcoin. And he says, when you look back 5 years or 10 years, the entire financial landscape, will be much different.
Listen, crypto and what we're doing, it's growing faster than the internet grew in the 90s, right? That's just a fact. When you look back in 5 years and 10 years, the entire financial landscape is going to be much different. And that's all because of cryptocurrency. And that's why I'm so damn excited about it. And I would have never gotten excited about it had it not been for this, had it not been for Siege, had it not been for debanking, had it not been for deplatforming and realizing that there are a couple people, sitting in their ivory towers that can control what you do, what I do, what all of us do. He's been on the receiving end of being deplatformed, all because he believed in industry that was the future of finance. And we've all been there. And I really believe it can never happen again based on the moves being made in crypto.
Okay. That's the key factor, is that these banks that I'm about to show you understand at a very, very, very deep level that decentralization is here. You and I can transact with each other, guys. Why do you think the UK is working to slam caps on stable coins? I could transfer USD1. I could transfer you Tether. I could transfer USDC outside of the central bank. The old central bank is being dismantled. And wait till Trump makes a decision on the new Fed Reserve chair. I do think we're going to have a bullish 2026, but you're going to have to prepare for volatility, guys. You have a battle between the old and the new. And here's the factors that you need to adopt, Warren Buffett style. You need to be able to watch paint dry. Only invest in your circle of competency. Okay. And the power of compounding. People will sit in a job for 30 years they hate to retire with barely enough to survive, but they can't sit patient for 5 years to radically transform their family's life. That's what we did. And I'm going to share with you exact plan on how I did it. So this should keep you bullish right here, guys. This should keep you calm. Franklin Templeton, we're making crypto easier peasier than ever before. That's kind of funny. Easier peasier. I didn't understand what that was when I read it last time. Easier peasier than ever before, with a newly expanded token lineup in Franklin Crypto Index ETF. Oh, easy peasy. How cute. That is so cute. Their marketing team. Kudos to you. They got BTC, ADA, Chainlink, Doge, ETH, Solana, XLM, XRP. I have XRP in my portfolio, XLM in my portfolio, Solana in my portfolio. I have Doge in my portfolio. I have ADA in my portfolio, and I have BTC. They're making it easy peasy, baby. Guys, these are some of the oldest banks in the world. Wake up, and let's go even deeper. Vanguard, guys, as of today, just in 11 trillion Vanguard to finally allow clients to access Bitcoin ETFs starting tomorrow. Vanguard, guys. 11 trillion. BlackRock, 10 to 11 trillion. These are the largest asset managers in the world embracing Bitcoin. You know what's going to be coming next? And I can't wait because I own my own insurance brokerage, is when they allow my clients, my beautiful clients, to index into Bitcoin, index into crypto, index into these ETFs. Can you imagine a world having insurance protected, principal protected, and indexing into things like Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum? It's coming, guys. I don't know when it's coming, but when it does, holy moly, that is the money matrix right there. Okay, so let me remind you, we're going to go back and watch this video of Cynthia Loomis. She calls for the US government to sell gold reserves and buy 5% of Bitcoin to resolve the 38 trillion in national debt crisis. They said they're going to do it in a budget neutral way, right? They got paper gold, like things like this. This is paper gold. They can revalue. And thank you to whoever sent this to me. Somebody sent this in the mail, goldback.com. Maybe it was them, but I got this in the mail at my facility. Thank you. This is little paper gold. It's so cute. But they want to revalue paper gold. This is her idea. Cynthia Loomis is the one that wrote the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Revalue it to current day prices and buy it in a budget neutral way. We're heading into digital gold. There's still going to be gold and silver, which is a great investment. Okay, I'm a silver guy. I don't have a lot of gold. Bitcoin. I don't have any gold. Excuse me. I got some now, but my Bitcoin is my gold. Okay, check out what she says.
If you were to acquire 5% of the world's Bitcoin, roughly 1 million, and hold them for 20 years, you could cut the national debt in half. And so I view a Bitcoin strategic reserve as a means to address the national debt. And because our bill would allow the US to acquire Bitcoin for that purpose without using new borrowed money to do it. It's just taking existing assets that we have that are undervalued and applying them to Bitcoin, which is over a 20-year period going to increase in value. So what we would do is take these gold certificates, convert them from what they're being held at on the US books at their 1974 value, and converting them to current value of gold, and then acquiring the Bitcoin, we would be in a position to fund a US strategic reserve.
Boom. It's here, guys. Bitcoin ETFs are now BlackRock's top revenue source, executives say. I know you want to believe that it's over. I know you want to believe the hype, the hopi, or all this stuff, guys. Get out of the hype, get out of the hopium, get into a circle of competence. What do you believe in? And if you don't believe in something, do some studying, Warren Buffett style. Okay. If you came out of college and you got like 10 investments on a punch card, you would do very, very well. I think how he says it, if you got to invest to buy one car for the rest of your life, and that's the only car you could drive, you would study, you would research, do that with your investments. That's why I'm so convicted on what I'm invested in. Okay, here's where the markets are at right now. It's going up and down. Everybody's emotional. We're completely non-emotional because we're long-term with an exit strategy. Okay, I hold Bitcoin forever. I'm never selling my Bitcoin. I'll explain that in just a moment with leverage. Okay, got to be very careful with leverage. It's like a match. It'll burn your house down or it'll light the way. Okay, it depends on who's using it. All coins, altcoins, all other cryptos, I exit 50% calmly on the way up. I don't care about bear and bull markets. If it hits my price targets on the way up, I exit and I enter when people are fearful and red. So when it's going red like this and it keeps going red, I love it. I love that Bitcoin's at 87. I wish XRP would keep going down because I know what I hold. I know over the long term that this market right here, this $3 trillion market, is going to be 111 trillion at some point. I know that for a fact. Guys, wake up. Vanguard, Franklin Templeton, some of the oldest banks in the world. JP Morgan's going to allow you to use IBIT, BlackRock, Bitcoin as leverage. Guys, this isn't going away. You have to digest that. You have to get out of the short term and pull yourself long term. So if we're in a bear market, we're in a bear market. Okay, accumulate. When we go back into a bull market, take some off the table, build an ecosystem. So how do you exit? We created Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. I'm the co-founder and creator of this. We teach you how to do this. Okay, this is an interface. This is where I keep my crypto safe. This is how I view my crypto. This is our demo account here. See, you can set up an exit plan. It teaches you how to do an exit plan, breaks it down. Like this one has a 50-50 exit plan, shows you exactly how many tokens to exit. We send you an alert when you're close to your targets. You can see the markets in one snapshot. And then we teach you actually how to set up profit taking. I don't like the word exit plan, profit taking plan, right? You can catch all these exchanges. You can see all your cryptos in one place. We don't hold your keys or crypto. This is just an interface. And then boom, you can go here. You see Johnny's beautiful face here. It teaches you how to do an exit plan. And if you're stuck, reach out to customer service. So down below in the description of my video, you can download Merlin. You can play around with it for 30 days for free, guys. 30 days for free in the description of my video or my social media platform. Try it before you buy it. Okay. I'm going to repeatedly say the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. So if you don't like someone who repeats things incessantly, I'm not your guy. Just hit the unfollow button. Okay. I'm the guy you follow if you want repetitive patterns over and over again, because that's how winning is done. There's 8 billion people in the world. And I'm not changing my message. My message is stoic. My message is calm. It's discipline. It's consistency. And it changes very, very slowly. Okay. So like I said, if you don't want to hear someone repeat the same thing over and over again, hit the unfollow button. If you're looking for discipline, consistency done for a long enough period of time to experience the compounding, to create generational wealth, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. And this is my system. And I'll repeat it every single day until something changes. I did and created what's called Capital DR. I'm actually in the process. We're, I think, a week or two away from trademarking it. Capital DR, cash flow into appreciating assets, because cash is trash. It's inflationary. I move inflationary cash, which is your debt, and I move it into assets that have fixed supply. Okay, I don't care what you invest in, but I like fixed supply assets that are deflationary, that grow over time, that have scarcity to them. Okay, the 60-40 split doesn't work anymore. The 60% stocks, 40% bonds is dead. You're not even beating inflation. They're about to inflate the shit out of this economy. They're going to print money and lower interest rates. You better prepare for this. This is not your grandparents and your parents' economy. Wake up. Baby boomers, wake up. They're about to deflate the shit out of that money you're storing. I'm getting very direct with this. You have to wake up. I don't care what you invest in, but you got to ask your financial advisor, how are you going to beat inflation when we go into 2029? Ask your financial advisor, when they lower interest rates and they start printing this dollar that's worthless, how are you going to help me beat inflation? 24% inflation from 2020 to 2024. You did nothing as a baby boomer, retired, and you became poor. You have to move with the system. You have to move with the interest. You have to understand, when they lower interest rates and they print money, you're going to become poor if you're sitting in fiat-based assets. Okay. So I move my assets into fixed supply assets. You can use gold, you can use silver, right? I use Bitcoin, XRP. Okay. I like to get into things that are also attached to fixed supply assets. And I'll break down my portfolio in just a moment. P is protection. I use cash value life insurance. Okay. They are cash value life insurance. They are not retirement policies. You need to fund them properly. They need to be structured properly, and you have to fund them properly. Okay, that's the biggest issue with this, is they're set up and then you don't fund them properly. They need cash in them to work. They're cash value life insurance. They're not retirement policies. So we love it as a family bank because we use L, leverage. Everybody's into leverage in the world, especially America. Poor and working class use leverage. This is what Grant Cardone states: use leverage to become poor. Wealthy use leverage to buy assets to become wealthier. All you have to do is switch that mindset. Imagine like an interest symbol. You're paying it or you're earning it. That's it. There's no money in the system, guys. Don't be fooled by the bullshit. There's no money in the system. You're paying it or you're earning it. So simply, even if you have 10 bucks or $1 million, if you start turning that 10 into earning versus paying interest, you've won already. You're ahead of 99% of the people. Listen to me. You're ahead of 99%. You can do this with 10 bucks. You can do this with $1 million. I started with nothing. I lost everything. I had $3,000 in crypto. I got it up to $30,000 in 2020. They took away my income here. They shut down our business in the pandemic. I got pissed and I started turning income. I started creating income. I did Gary Vee's flip strategy. I flipped vacuums. I flipped a couch. I flipped things free on Facebook Marketplace. I started buying XRP. I went through the bull run and I took my income, my profit, I turned the income into cash flow. I started with businesses and then I took business income and I put it into dividends. And now I'm getting paid from dividends 24 hours a day, or passive income. I created businesses that have monthly recurring revenue. I created multiple different businesses, different sectors. I have a software company. We have our app. We have Merlin. We have an education platform. I have a men's coaching program. I have an insurance firm. I created companies that help other people solve big problems. I followed all the gurus and what they do, okay? Get on the right side of the cash flow quadrant. Stop trading time for money. Use money to free up time. So I take the money that I get from the businesses and I put it into dividends that create cash flow. I take the cash flow and I put it into assets that have fixed supply. Those fixed supply assets, one grew 800%, one grew 200%. I didn't sit there and watch it go rubberneck and watch it go up and down. I pulled profits and I stuffed it into insurance. And then when it came down, you can borrow against your insurance or you can borrow against your assets to buy more assets and cash flow. And DR, de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Always be de-risking. Okay. There's always going to be a bear and bull market. There's not going to be some massive super cycle. It always ends. Everything ends. Your relationship is all hunky-dory in the beginning. All that fuzziness ends at some point. And you get into the real deal, discipline and consistency. That's how real relationships are built. Okay. You do a bodybuilding show and you get shredded. You start eating that donuts and you completely unravel. There you go into your bear market, your off season, on season, on season. Relationships are on point. Relationships are falling apart. Okay. Your health is in order. Your health completely unravels. The markets are booming. Everybody gets greedy and then it completely unravels. If you can invert this and reverse engineer it, reverse engineer it, do the opposite of everybody else. I love that it's red right now. I did not believe that I'm going to be able to get these types of buying opportunities. I'm buying XRP at $2. I'm like, this is crazy. This is amazing. So here's my exact portfolio. Okay. I have cash generating dividends. Okay. There's different levels of dividends. You got tier 1, which are synthetic option calls, which are high risk. Okay. And the reason why I don't talk openly about them is because if you don't know how to de-risk, then you're going to get wrecked in that area, right? I de-risk off these high risk dividends and I put them into Bitcoin and XRP. I'm creating free cash flow. I'm house money already. Boom. De-risking. Okay. So there's tier 1, there's tier 2, which is anywhere from 10 to 15%. Michael Saylor's created these credit products where it sucks out the volatility of Bitcoin. You can get passive income off of them, dividends, right? Then you have Warren Buffett style tier 3, which is Coca-Cola, Apple. Guys, there's so many companies. Everybody's creating side hustles. If you have enough money to create a side hustle, just put money into a dividend stock. If you find a nice dividend stock that's producing 10 to 11%, you put in 100 grand, do the math. That's 11,000 per year. That's $1,000 per month. It's a part-time job. It's a part-time side hustle. You don't have to clean the toilets. You don't have to. So that's where I'm going to be in the next 10 years. I'm buying tons of dividends. I'm stacking dividends. Just over the last 12 months, I've created a 6-figure dividend portfolio just in 12 months. And that's my goal, is to get $1 million dividend portfolio that pays me close to $60,000 to $70,000 a month. That's my goal. Okay. And with the $60,000 to $70,000 a month, I'm going to be de-risking out into assets that will be here and insurance that's protected. That's how I win. Okay. And then we got P. So let me get into sorry, I'm getting all fired up. Okay. So my top investments, and this is my thesis I'm sticking with. XRP is number 1. Bitcoin is number 2. WL as in Larry, FI will be number 3. It's climbing up past Solana very soon. And American Bitcoin. Okay. Now I have many other cryptocurrencies, but this is going to be my hyper focus from here on out. I'm going to stack as much XRP as I can, as much Bitcoin as I can. I'm not going to get my biggest bang for my buck. I might double my Bitcoin over the next 6 to 7 months, maybe. Probably will grow. It's more of a supercharged savings. So my WFI, I'm working to get as much as I can every single week in American Bitcoin, ABTC, which is on the stock side. So here's my thought. Picks and shovels. I own the picks and shovels that's mining the Bitcoin. It also has a Bitcoin treasury. I think it's a great company at a very fair price right now. We got WFI, great company, which is a DeFi platform where the Trump boys are running it. The Witkoff boys are running it. I believe they're decentralizing the banks. That's a speculative investment. The DeFi bank isn't up and running. So that'd be my most speculative investment, but if I was a betting man, I'd bet on the people that are writing the rules. Okay, so that would be my investment in the new World Bank. Bitcoin is my store of value like gold, and XRP is an investment in the new bridge currency that is going to change the liquidity crisis in America and worldwide. That is my thesis, and I'm sticking to it. The beautiful thing about this, you can come back, just so I can go back to my videos in 2020 to now, and you can see when everybody tried to FUD me out of XRP and the SEC dropped the case against Ripple, I went all in. I'm a very convicted person. I went all in, and it changed my family's life. My XRP grew 800% from 17 cents up to $3.40. Life-changing. Conviction, discipline, consistency, and you will have that moment at some point. At some point, you're going to win. I don't know if it's tomorrow. I don't know if it's in a week from now. I don't know if it's 6 months from now. But what I do know is if you do something disciplined, consistent for a long enough period of time, you eventually will win. Study the bamboo tree. People called my success overnight. I've been doing this since 2017, incessantly and consistently, and producing content and producing businesses. And I failed 5 times. I lost my businesses 5 times. I never stopped posting. I drove Uber in 2018 and 2019 to pay the bills while I worked 19 hours a day to build my businesses. That's just all. It's the same story with anybody in success for you guys. It's just that you have to just do it for a long enough period of time to allow it to compound. And once it compounds, then you got to maintain it. Right? You got to water the grass. You got to till the ground. Nothing comes easy, guys. Especially men. I'm talking to you, head of household. That's your responsibility, spiritually, financially, and physically, is to protect your family. That's your number one role. That's all you should be focused on. You should be so busy. You shouldn't be in other men's comments. You should be focused on your physical walk, your health, physical, your spiritual walk, praying over your family, studying the Bible, and your financial walk. You need to be responsible financially or working towards financial sovereignty for your family. That is your goal and that is your role. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, rise. Get your shit together.